mine this year, I got so much, I mean.
Escrow was paying, I had to go two.
You have people somebody years, didn't you?
I got one out there, me and Keith worked out the other
All
one.
right, we're live. Okay, good morning. I have 9:02, a couple minutes behind due to some technical issues, but we have a quorum present. I call this meeting, this special call meeting of the Upson County Board of Commissioners to order. All right, first thing on the agenda is a public hearing on the beer and wine ordinance. Can I get a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have Commissioner Jones and I have a second.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brewer?
Yes. Okay. Do we have anybody sign in for?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion? Is there any discussion on the beer and wine ordinance?
The only discussion I got, we're gonna read it or anything?
We probably should close the public hearing first and then have the discussion.
Okay.
Motion to close from.
Got it. Commissioner Jones' motion. Second from Commissioner Biggs.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brewer?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. So discussion on the beer and wine ordinance.
Yeah, the only thing that in the ordinance, it does not say that a surveyor has to measure the distance. Is that going to be covered by the ordinance, or is it going to be covered by the building department, or what?
No, it should be in there.
I don't remember seeing.
If you look at H, item H, and then section 6-49, proximity restriction. It's on page 8, top of page 8. Each applicant shall provide with each application a certificate from a land surveyor
Oh, it does, okay.
currently registered and licensed in the state of Georgia, showing a scaled drawing of the location of the proposed licensed premises and the distance in yards to the nearest church grounds, school building, school grounds, college campus.
As long as it's in there. I skipped that piece.
I don't believe that. I know
Do we
you
need
go
to
through this
officially
stuff.
read it? How does it work?
No, no.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a lot.
It's available.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's available.
Okay, moving on to new business. Update from the tax commissioner on property tax appeals.
Dave wanted us to sit at the table. Be heard or whatever.
Okay.
I guess where to start is this packet of appeals right here. We're looking, and I just want to address my concerns and some stuff we're going to be doing, having to do moving forward with county funds when it comes to paying these appeals. But I guess y'all are aware about the DOE situation. A lot of these appeals, and Teresa will jump in whenever, will not be heard until after the first of the year. Okay. But this stack right here represents over 450 appeals. If I'm not mistaken, we usually have between 30 and 50 a year. Okay. Y'all are probably aware of this. It takes time for the Board of Equalization to hear these appeals, and it costs taxpayer money. And this right here is a trickle-down effect on the tax commissioner's office. What I mean by that, it causes extra work on our end. Not that we can't handle it, we're getting it done, but there's a lot of stuff that has to be done that's not known to get these appeals in. We're having to collect 85% at least on every appeal before the 20th, or 100%. These that are doing 85% mostly are the rental properties. Some of them 40, 50 pieces of rental property. We have to hand figure that 85% then entered in the system. So that's kind of like the trickle-down effect. Then, when these appeals get heard after the first of the year, we have to go in manually and adjust each appeal. That right there is very time consuming. Again, not that we can't handle it, it's just, to me, unnecessary, okay? I'm being kind of blunt with this, but to me, this should have never happened, not these many appeals. The Board of Assessors chose to do it, I believe, because they wanted, number one, uniformity maybe with the rental properties, and I can understand that. But I think they chose to do it to get it off their back, about what went down last year with the criticism of the chief appraiser and assessing property. Usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, we may have a lot of appeals, before, like maybe 300 or 400. But usually what happens is that the chief appraiser, he'll work it out so it doesn't have to go before the Board of Equalization. Therefore saving time, saving taxpayer dollars, and then whatever's worked out is approved by the Board of Assessors. Okay. Earlier this year, I talked with the Board of Assessors, one of their meetings. I caught wind that they might be sending most of the appeals to the BOE, and I kind of knew what the trickle-down effect was going to be. And I asked them to reconsider, I can understand their concern for being concerned about the chief appraiser's assessment, but when I saw the numbers earlier this year where he had put the values on the property, I fully trusted what he had done. I mean, to me, from what I've seen in my experience, he had the numbers where they're supposed to be, where we'd have good sales ratio and good values. The rental property, of course, went up. It got up to the uniformity that they were wanting. It's just like, why couldn't we work out some of these other appeals, that weren't the rental property, the ones that were set aside? This rental property, out of these number of appeals, total probably between 150 and 175 of these appeals. The rest of them are individuals, okay, appealing their property, and usually those are the ones that get worked out prior to BOE, and that's not something that's done just in Upson County. That's done across the state by all the assessor's offices. It helps in the process, But, even in the past, it's been done here in Upson County. The previous chairperson of the board had their property, lowered, and it was approved by the Board of Assessors. So it's not like that it can't be done. It's not like that it couldn't be done this year. So what we're having to do, these appeals total about over $200,000 worth of property tax revenue. What I'm going to have to do is make sure we're holding back enough revenue from the county, if we have to pay this 15% that we're not collecting. Like if their property is lowered, by the BOE, we gotta make sure we have money to make these refunds that we might have to make on those not paying 100%. I've got several, all the rental property, most of it is being paid 85% because all these appeals are going to be heard by the BOE. Okay, so I got to hold out money, and I'm here to let y'all know that that's what we're going to be doing. I want to be open and transparent about that. Hopefully, we'll be collecting enough money, revenue in March and April when these things hopefully get done, that we won't have to create an escrow account that we can just go ahead and pay a refund like we normally do. But we got to make sure we got enough. Now on these refunds, we had to pay interest. I found that. We had to pay prime plus 3% is what I'm told. So that's revenue that's gonna be used to pay interest, okay? I'll let you read into that what you want. But Teresa may want to expound on the BOE process so, y'all can better understand what this has to be done.
Just to be clear and make sure that we've got a clear understanding, we may start the appeals in 2026. Hopefully we can start them in January. We've still got 4 board members that have got to be trained before we can even start the appeals. And then you're looking at trying to schedule their life schedules with all these appeals. So it's not probably going to be done by March or April if we're realistic about it. If we've got 450 appeals still pending, the most we can hear a day might be 12, maybe 15, if we're, depending on how they're scheduled, how much time we can do. So you can do the math on that. So if we can do about 15 a day, maybe 20 a day if we're lucky, we got 450 to hear. So, and they don't hear them every day. These people have lives, they have jobs, so it's not like we can schedule a whole week and do Monday through Friday 8 to 5. We're just piecemealing it to fit their schedules. I mean, that's what we're looking at realistically. So hopefully we can get them done as soon as possible, but I just wanted to be real with the board and let you know that it's not going to be probably March or April, but hopefully we'll do the best we can. So hopefully we can get it all done.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Yes.
So what do we got to do to potentially go to a regionalized board equalization?
You have to get, a resolution would have to be done, and Mr. English might could help us with this, but I think you have to get a resolution done that has to be passed, and then you have to get the cooperation of other counties, and then the commissioners have to agree on the money part. I mean, the financing of it is not as simple as just saying, hey, Pike County or Lamar County, y'all are neighbors, let's join together, Crawford County, whoever. There's a whole lot that has to be happening behind the scenes. So all the commissioners would have to get together. Y'all have to decide how you're going to divide the funding, who's going to pay for what, which board members are going to serve, who's going to delegate, who's going to be the administrator. There may be more to it than that, but that's all I know off the top of my head is that it has to have a resolution, it has to be passed, and it has to be a cooperative agreement.
Because it obviously that's probably something we need to start looking at if that's where we want to go, because we're about to find out what this process is going to cost us, and it ain't going to be free.
Well, honestly, doesn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. Honestly, this is the first time we've had this problem. We know why we've got the problem. We've got the problem because the appeals are not being worked out at the tax assessor level. We normally don't have this many. Even if we do have around 300, the most we might hear would be 100 out of 300. That was our year in 2023 when they did a re-eval. We have about 400 appeals filed. I think we ended up hearing 123 cases that year. But that was a big year. Last year, I think I had 50 filed and we had 10 hearings. So, I mean, this is an unusual. I mean, if I'm all for if y'all, I mean, that's y'all's decision. It is not my decision. I am just the appeal administrator. But if y'all want to decide to do a regional board, that's up to y'all, and I think y'all should look into it if you think it'll be cost effective. But I'm just saying, this is an unusual year. This is not something that normally happens.
Well, all right, so, I'm going to go a little further on that. What happened to our alternates that served? What?
Over the 3 years, we've had people who just come off. They don't want to serve. It is so hard to get people to serve. I call and beg. I put newspaper, an ad in the newspaper. We put it on the radio. We put it on social media. Over the last 2 years, I think I've had 8 people apply. And so, and then they'll apply, but then they won't go through the training. There's a 40-hour, it's a commitment of 40-hour week training. So we'll get people appointed. I've had 4 people appointed over the last 2 years who refused to go to training. They just won't go. They were all for it and wanted to be on the board, but when it came time to do training, oh no, we can't do that.
So what is your process? If somebody says I can't go training, I mean, they should immediately be removed and you need to go before the grand jury and somebody else needs to get.
That's what we've done, but we cannot get anybody to apply. In August of this past year, I put an ad in the paper, same thing, ad in the paper, called some people that were recommended, social media, as much as I could get out there. We had 1 person apply, and she had been on the board previously. I cannot get anybody. This year I had, this past time we had 6 applications. And we needed at least three members, and we got 3 members out of those 6 applications.
So would you agree that a regional board, if that was possible, would be better for all involved?
I think a study could be done, but I think it would be the county's attorney's opinion that would probably be most helpful in that. I don't think my opinion would be better.
Well, I'll tell you the reason I support that.
Okay.
Is because it takes the politics. I don't have to sit across the table from you,
Yeah,
because we're somewhat still pretty small town.
Right.
I would say I know at least 60% of the people in Upson County, at least I think I do.
yeah.
It just takes the politics out of it. It cleans everything up. I don't have to sit here and go, man, Ben's in here, he's wanting a break on his taxes. And I immediately feel that pressure that I gotta do something for him. Because if I don't do something for him and we leave this room, there's gonna be this rift. If we go to a regionalized board, you're sitting in front of somebody that doesn't know you, it's based on the facts.
Well, you still have representatives from each county.
Right, I understand
So
that, but
you
it,
still have somebody from your county on that board, because you've got a 3-person board, and I wasn't expecting this question, I would have been prepared with all the answers, but I think you would still have, if you did 3 counties, you still have to have 1 person from each county on that board.
So-
You would not go before someone who is not familiar with the
So
county.
when appeal is heard, how many members of the board are present?
3.
3.
You have to have at least 3. You
Okay.
can't do less than 3.
And so right now you have 4 members?
Well,
Or
I
you
have
have
one
4
and
that
a
need
half.
training? Huh?
I have 1.5 trained and ready to go.
Okay. And you have a total of how many members after the grand jury?
Hopefully, if we can get everybody trained, we'll have 6 members. We'll have 3 board members and 3 alternate members.
Okay. And there's no limit on the alternates, correct?
3. You can have more than that, but it's
Why
some gray
wouldn't
area on
we?
that.
I'm just asking why wouldn't we? Because
that's
I
a
mean,
scenario.
why wouldn't we? I asked because
Yeah.
you say you don't get any applicants, but
Right.
for this time you had 6. I mean, I don't know why the other 3 weren't alternates, but I'm just saying we shouldn't set ourselves up to be back in the same position.
I think, if I could interject this, what James is talking about the region, I think some concerns there, and it might be a good way to go, but the time frame that these to get heard, because you got others from other counties that had to be heard. And the reason that there again, it's a trickle-down effect to the efficiency of our office. Are we gonna have to wait around for several months, to get the paperwork to finish the whole appeal process? And generally, what was happening in the past, these appeals were getting heard, these 30, 40, 50, 70, whatever were getting heard, and we were getting them processed before the actual due date of taxes. That's how quick it was getting done.
Yeah.
And that's a smooth process. But, check it out. That might be a good way to go. But my thought in all this, from my experience in the past, is I think the chief appraiser needs to be given back the confidence of working these appeals out and let them be approved by the Board of Assessors.
Right, but that we don't make that call.
Right. Well,
So what?
in a way.
So what we've done, we did call in the tax commissioner of Georgia, the DOR. There has been a performance review. We expect that review any day now. I sent an email to DOR. They told me it's in the final review process. We'll look at that, and we're responsible for appointing board members, right? So after we get the review back, we'll see if there's anything we need to address, but we've also already agreed to appoint 2 more members, right?
And that's where I was going with this, that y'all don't control the Board of Assessors, but I've asked twice that, to be aware, that we can't be doing this in the future. And I feel like it might not got heard, so, y'all do a point.
Let Chris speak.
So the 40 hours of training, is that done within a week's time period? Or is it
Yes,
over?
no, it is very strict. It's Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. It's not a work as you go. It's not I'll check in and do this much today. It's a commitment. And they don't have very many classes a year either. That's another problem.
Yeah.
It's done by the Department of Revenue. They'll do 3 or 4 in-person trainings, and they'll do a couple of virtual trainings. And so even with the virtual training, you have to be present in front of your computer from 8 to 4. You can't just log in and out and work at your own pace. So that's been the issue. The county pays for all that. They pay for the training, they pay for the motel, they pay for gas, they pay for food, all that, but still getting people to go has been.
If you got somebody,
The pay per day is only what, 25?
It's 60, oh, for training, you get $25 a day for training, that's
Yeah,
all.
so,
Yeah.
you're asking somebody to leave their work to go for 40 hours.
Yeah.
Number one, but
Yeah.
then if you're saying we can only do 12 to 15 a day, I did the numbers on 450, that's 30 days of solid work plus the 40 hours
Yeah.
at how much a day?
Well, if you're going to
If you're
training,
in a
you get
meeting.
$25, but in a meeting, you get $65 a day. And that's not a lot either for somebody who's, and the problem is getting people who, we've got a mixture on the board this time. If they do training, we'll have some that are employed and some who are retired, so that helps. In the past, we did have a board of members who were all retired, and that caused a few problems too. But anyway, it has not been a
Well-
fun process.
If you've got something.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask again, just piggybacking on what the commission's asking about, as far as, I know the chief of, I understand there's been some issues, but even if he's unable to reach an agreement on the value, they have an outlet, then they go to the Board of Equalization. So why?
Well, in the past,
That's what happened.
that's
right?
what's happened is the tax assessor, chief appraiser, has sat down and worked out a lot of these appeals before it comes to the Board of Equalization. He was given, I guess, authority, permission, whatever the term would be, to address and to work out these appeals. And by the time we got them, even if we got to a 200 or 300, maybe 10% of those would go to a hearing, because they would still be constantly in the process of working them out.
And see, that, like I said earlier, that's done in many counties. The chief appraiser works it out
Yeah.
close, most of the times, to what the Board of Equalization would have settled on. And then what he works out is approved by the Board of Assessors. So it's all, legit.
And the only reason I go back to that is, I understand what Commissioner Ellington's saying as far as the regional, which that may be a great alternative, but if that region is getting 450 appeals from Upson County, they probably not gonna wanna be in our region.
Yeah, we probably gotta be right before we go there, probably.
Right.
Well, I agree. Well, I think a lot of reasons we're here today, because it's not right, okay? And until we fix what's not right, we're not gonna
Yes.
fix the problem.
Exactly.
So, and everybody feels, I think it's gonna come a point when things level, that appeals are gonna be, it's still gonna be a few out there that appeal, but we got so many right now because there's a trust issue, okay? All right, so this board took the steps to hopefully overcome that by requesting an audit by the DOR. We're waiting on those reports. I think when you do something of that magnitude, everybody kind of gets to the point where they don't want to move because they don't know, hey, everybody runs back to the corner, and that's what's happened here. Everybody ran back to the corner and says, okay, we're going to do what we're supposed to do and nothing more. Okay, that's where we're at today. Until we get this report and we can get these values more accurately correct, if they are not correct, I have no proof that they're not. Then I think you're going to see potentially the appeals resolve itself. I think we got to get through that. But on another note, and I don't know this process totally, so I want to know, but I do have a question. There were some appointments to the Board of Equalization, and I questioned one of those appointments. And how do we put should Lonnie Joyce be on the Board of Equalization?
county has a policy that says no. City has a policy that doesn't, city doesn't have a policy.
Teresa, now, I think I don't go by everything I see on the Book of Face, but I did see one post where someone had published, I believe, a note from you that said that individual would not hear city appeals because of a valid conflict of interest. What I would argue to you is that last night we passed the floss, right? The floss distribution between the city and the county is based on a formula that I picked up the phone and called that individual and got the deal done when we had to get it done. That individual has a direct conflict of interest in adjudicating any county tax appeals, because if he approves a tax appeal, it automatically favors his jurisdiction, his tax authority, and he has a conflict of interest with every property in the county as well. And I would ask you to make efforts to remove that individual from that board, and I would ask you to go back, and if you do not have a limit to alternates, get more alternates. That's what I would ask, because we had, in this period, we had more people appeal than you've ever had, applied than you ever had. So I would think we should take advantage of that. I do have concerns about the conflict of interest of that individual. Is the individual smart? Is the individual capable? No doubt. No doubt about it. But it will always, always, always be a cloud over the Board of Equalization as long as that individual is adjudicating either city or county properties, because that individual has a conflict with both.
Yeah, and if I can, that is something that Madam Clerk did reach out to me about and had concern. So, and obviously I don't want to speak for you, Teresa, but so that's something that's kind of gone back and forth. But I agree with Commissioner Ellington and the chairman as far as the conflict. And, you know, it's nothing personal about this particular individual.
Fully capable,
bright,
sure.
Very bright person. You know, would be great candidate. We would love to have more candidates like that. The only issue is the position he's in would be a conflict. It wouldn't matter if it was the chairman that was over there or me over there. It's just a conflict on its face, and it would just not sit well moving. We already have issues there,
Right.
So why add to the issues? And we kind of came up with one potential way to resolve it, not to put the clerk, unfortunately, because of her position is right in the middle of this, and but if, and I don't know if that's what how you decided to address it or not.
I spoke with DOR and unofficial legal counsel, and my role over the Board of Equalization, I'm the appeal administrator. That is my role. Make sure that the board, whoever the grand jury appoints and manages, so to speak, the Board of Equalization. I just administer the duties. I make sure they're trained. I make sure they get their certifications. I make sure the calendars go out. I make sure the notices go out. I make sure the decisions are, mailed properly. That's my only role. When I received the application, I reached out to this individual and I said, the county has a policy. Does the city have a policy? He says, no, the city doesn't have a policy. Reached out to the Department of Revenue and I said, what do I do about this? And he said, you have to take it to grand jury. He's not considered an elected official, therefore there's not a legal conflict. So I took the application in. So after some discussion with Mr. English and other people, I was advised that the only way to remove this individual would be for someone to file an official complaint and take it to grand jury. So if, just to speak bluntly, if y'all have a complaint, you're gonna have to file an official complaint with me and we'll have to take it to grand jury. I can't just take it to grand jury.
Okay.
I
think we have an obligation to the citizens of Upson County, the citizens of Thomaston, to do the right thing. Again, I don't think the individual, I think the individual is fully capable, but as long as that individual is on a board and hearing, there will always, always, always be a cloud over every decision made by the Board of Equalization. And we see what happened when there was cloud over the Board of Assessors, right? So we can't perpetuate that. So
And just
I got
remember
it.
too that there's a 3-person board, so not one person makes that decision. It has to be a unanimous decision. So not one person can say, oh, we're going to do it this way, or no, we're going to do this value. It would have to be a unanimous decision. There is a dissent, so one person can dissent, and then unanimously, the decision would carry forward with that vote. So just, you know, please understand that I care neither way. I'm the appeal administrator, that's my only duty. But I do have to be careful how I handle it as well, because I have to follow my procedures as well. And when the grand jury appointed, I had an obligation to go forward. And until a formal complaint is filed and we go back to grand jury, that's just where we are.
Okay.
But do understand that as soon as I got the appointment, I think I reached out to Mr. English too, and I said, look, when I saw the appointment, I said, I just don't think that we should put him on the city. I mean, I knew that there would be a conflict. And I have 5 other members, you know, that we can put on the board. So it's not like this individual would be on the board every single time. He's a member of the board, you know, so.
Can the process be kind of paused for this individual until that works itself out? Because what I see as a concern is we're paying for him to go off and get trained, and then he gets removed from the board possibly. That's a waste of money.
Yeah, that, let me check into that. Let me see if I think it sounds
Maybe as soon as
reasonable. Yeah.
the complaint is submitted, maybe that's something we could look
You
into.
issued your legal opinion on that.
Yeah.
appointment, didn't you?
I also got a legal opinion from the, was it
If
MGA?
the county gets sued,
Yeah.
this guy's got to defend it.
Well, the city attorney unofficially gave me an opinion, and then, is it GMA, MGA?
GMA.
GMA. Mr. Patel sent me a 5-page email with statutes as well. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to get in the middle of it because I'm not an attorney. I'm just the appeal administrator. So and I told Heath there's no disrespect to him at all. I've been knowing Heath my whole life and respect him totally. I just have to, I'm in the middle here, y'all. I'm getting legal opinions from this side and legal opinions from this side, and the grand jury did their job. So
When is the next grand jury?
I'm not sure. They said they may have a special one in December. We don't appoint a new grand jury again until March. But hopefully we'll have some.
I guess what I'm
cases
hearing
in
though
December.
is we want to make that at the next available grand jury. Is that right?
I would say so. I think we owe it to the public to do our part as a board. And I know I'm not speaking for it. We hadn't taken a vote on anything, but that there is and there was immediate book of face backlash when that was.
Well, I guess I would just ask the chairman and clerk to put that on the next available agenda to vote, to tell me what you want me to do.
Well, does it have to be a complaint from the board or just an individual? It can be a complaint.
I just have to have a formal.
I think as a taxing authority that we have an agreement with the city that is formulated, and the city has their person who pitched that agreement to his board, sitting on the Board of Equalization. I think we as a taxing authority should make a formal complaint about a conflict of interest on the Board of Equalization.
Can I say?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to amend the agenda in a minute to take off the Davenport because they're not here. So you could amend the agenda to add that if you want to vote today. If he needs
Okay.
to vote.
When we get past new business here with them, we can, as the next item, we can do that. If somebody wants to make a motion.
Addressing what Ben brought up about pausing the, how do you feel about pausing the training? I'm not a fan of it. And I know it would cost because that's where the process starts. For
I think just
everybody.
his, not the
Having
Not in
enough,
general.
Yeah, my thought is just pull the
having
alternate.
enough.
His.
Okay.
Yeah, just pull in an alternate that you have,
Okay.
calls him for.
Well, I mean, we're all, I'm trying to get them all scheduled. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not, you know, I've got 4 that have got to be trained. So, I've got 2, well, I had 3, that have, asked to go to there's a virtual training in November the 17th through the 21st. So I've had 3. The one that was on the board previously, she came off, and unfortunately, the law says that even though she came off board, she's still got to go back through the 40-hour training, which is very frustrating. We've tried every way around it. I've spoke to everybody at the Department of Revenue, and there's just no way around it. So she's got to do the 40-hour again, but she's a great member, and I hope we can get her trained as soon as possible. If we get her trained, the sitting board, I guess you could call them, would be Wayne Moultrie, Ken Morgan, and Jennifer Harris, as soon as we can get her trained. The alternate board is Stan Pitts, Russell Thompson, and Anthony Houck. I can't remember his name.
My thought is if you have the other 2 alternates that are scheduled for training, we should be okay.
As soon as I can get Ms. Jennifer
but if-
Harris trained, we'll be fine.
Yeah, but if like you only have one person that can get training done for some reason, then it could hold things up.
Then you gotta hope all 3 can show up on the same day.
Yeah.
That's the other issue. It's quite a moving piece that the clerks did not ask to be a part of. The governor appointed this position to us in 2010 without our knowledge.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andy, so it's my understanding you're gonna collect the 85, and then you have to hold everything over last year's tax amount?
Well,
Is it
what
in
I'm
escrow?
doing, I have to anticipate holding 15%.
Okay.
Because it might not get settled.
Okay,
or
so
it
you're
could
going on a
get
percentage
settled.
amount.
But hopefully, there's gonna be incoming property tax revenue in March, April, so I won't have to hold any out. We can just process refunds. We'll be sending probably additional bills if they don't get lowered. It's just, just a costly process.
I was just trying to get my CFO on the same page about how much money we might be short.
Not
If there was a dollar
not really.
amount,
If
no,
it's just
really.
15%, I did the math, it's like 32,000
Okay.
if it maxes out, then you gotta add interest.
Yeah,
possibly to
yeah,
that, so.
but it wouldn't be, we're not
But
talking about
hopefully
hundreds
I
of
won't
thousands.
have to hold that out, but that's something I did want the board to be aware of. And let me say this while I'm talking. Teresa and I talked quite a bit this time of year when it comes to appeals and board of equalization. I do not envy her position, what she has to do, what she has to go through. I mean, you have to recruit people to sit on the board of equalization. You gotta hope that they make it through the training, and you gotta hope, I mean, it's just, I guess my whole thing is here, this is a big learning process that I hope everybody has learned from, that we don't need to do this again. And James, what you mentioned, not controlling the Board of Assessors or whatever, this board does have the ability, and I know y'all have talked about it, of adding more members. I highly encourage that, so that there's more insight from those members that something like this doesn't happen again.
I think that was most of our goal today, was just to, this is an unusual year. It's not something that has normally happened. And I think to help the board understand the situation that's put us all in because of what happened at the initial level where you filed has trickled down. And you're saying it hasn't affected maybe the tax revenue that much. But just think about the resources it has taken to handle hours and hours and hours of my office handling paperwork, hours and hours of his office, not count mailing. Let's just talk about mailing. Y'all know how expensive mailing is. I have to send letters, then I have to send another letter, and I had to send 526 letters, and then I had to send a postponement letter. And I'm talking about, that's not just
For each
postage.
one.
I'm talking about the work itself, the pay, the resources. I'm just talking about the resources that this situation has caused all of us. And it costs the county more than anything. It hits y'all at the budget level a lot more than you realize, I think. So one of our goals today was just to make sure that the board understood that and that we can do things to prevent this from happening again.
I think we all agree. And we all agree. We will move to appoint in the future. We already approved the additional positions. We did not want to appoint before we had the findings because we wanted some separation, we want affiliation, if you will, if there's something that needs to be addressed. We are on YouTube, so I'll just say it. Hey, if you are interested in applying for the Board of Assessors, you can go to our website. You can contact our Miss Jessica over here, and she'll take your application. And we're open to as many applications as possible. We want to have an option that put the best that we can, best board we can together. All right. Any other questions for these two?
I appreciate y'all's time listening.
Thank you.
I'll address
All right.
this.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, and so as the county manager pointed out, I guess I skipped over. There wasn't a thing that said approve the agenda. So we do have something on the agenda we're not going to be able to execute today. Can I get a motion to amend the agenda? So we want to amend the agenda to remove financial update from Davenport. Do we want to amend to also add a vote for a complaint of a conflict of interest?
Yes.
Okay, so I have Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Ellington.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brooks?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right, so the amended agenda has a consideration of filing a formal complaint with the Board of Equalization for a conflict of interest for one of the members, specifically adjudicating appeals for county property. Can I get a motion to, or do we have any further discussion on that? Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that this board approve you to file an official, what's the word I'm looking for here? Complaint of conflict of interest with our clerk of court on the selection of candidates for Board of Equalization.
Specific candidate, right?
Specific candidates.
See. Okay. Do I have
Second.
a second from Commissioner Jones? Any further discussion?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brooks?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Next up is discussion of the 2026 budget.
Hey, good morning. So you have in front of you a list, I emailed this out as well, working with Alan on putting something together for y'all. This essentially is for the regular M&O millage. These were the items that the chairman, we got his notes after the last budget session. I had my own notes, and then if any of you guys had reached out to me at any point in time about an item or items, and so I kind of wanted to kind of give you an overall update of where we are, or kind of what it's looking at, and we can kind of go over these items almost as in kind of a menu fashion. I want to say I think we're in pretty good shape. We technically right now, as you see at the top, have a surplus of $107,000, and that includes we budget, or Mr. Salter budgets around $150,000 a year contingency. So to me, we've got around a $257,000 cushion as we kind of go through these items. I don't want to get to a point where we go to amend the budget, go to approve the budget, and then somebody doesn't approve the budget based on one line item. So I'd like to try to get these out. These are the kind of things we discussed. Y'all tell me tell us where you want to go. We can stop and have discussions in the middle, or we can go all the way through them, whatever you think. But the first one on there, and I tried to put a dollar amount out to the right because I want everybody to understand what we're talking about and what the effect is for the individual items, right? So as you know, we've talked about anywhere from a 2.75 to a 3.75 raise for other employees. The sheriff has asked for 8 to stay competitive with the city and things, and I don't think he did anything last year, and the city made a pretty good jump. The sheriff has met with the chairman, met with me. I think he's probably talked to y'all, but you know, that number over and above the 3.75 is an additional $100,000. Right, so it's currently in the budget, so we still have that surplus with that $100,000 extra in there, right? So we could, if you take it out, we'd be adding to the surplus, or we could leave it in there.
Now, is that 8% plus 3.7?
No, sir, it's just 8 straight, yeah. Instead of the 3.75, they went to 8. Yes, sir.
So it's 8, but it's 4 and 4?
Right.
So it
It's 6 next year, but it will be 8 going forward, right? For 2027,
Yeah, so-
everybody's gonna be 8.
So here's what I want everyone to understand. What we're talking about is a 4% pay raise at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And a 4% pay raise mid-year,
July 1,
right? Which equates to a 6% increase in our budget for this year.
for this year.
All right? It's kind of like moving credit card debt. It's going to be on us next year, right? Because it's going to be, it'll
That's right.
equal 8% for next year, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like doing, I wouldn't do my personal budget that way. You know, so what we're essentially doing is saying, we know we're going to have additional requirements next year, and then there's going to be a raise next year, right? And so what we talked about is, I would like to, I agree, I'll say it publicly, I agree with the sheriff that there is an issue with the pay of our public safety officers, whether they're in the jail or on patrol or 911. There is some discrepancy there. That's my personal opinion after sitting down and looking at all the numbers, looking at the city of Thomaston, looking at surrounding counties. And I think he has legitimate argument in recruitment. I'm not sure he has as much of an argument in retention, right? Except for the younger folks that he might recruit. The folk, when I say younger, I'm talking about tenure, how long they've been there. The longer they're there, the less likely they are to leave because are you going to get an equivalent position somewhere else? My concern really is how we're executing it, right? To me, I would rather I think we just
Rip the Band-Aid off.
go with it, whatever it is, and say that's what we're going with. You know, if we want to do 6%, do 6% at the beginning of the year, and you know, have a plan. It would have to be a consensus of the board at some point. If we're going to say, hey, we have to get public safety more competitive. If we're doing them 6% and they're 2.5 over the population, you know, if we did 2.5 or 2 over a 3-year period, could we get to where we can maintain competitiveness? Anyway, I'm not here to adjudicate that today, but I think I would feel more comfortable just saying straight up 6 and not adding something to next year's budget before we get to next year's budget. All right. And while we're talking about that, I go straight to number 7 because we do the exact same thing, the same methodology with our other employees. We have a pay raise, and then we have a step increase, and that happens throughout the year, correct? And if someone can elaborate, what is the step increase? Is it supposed to be performance-based, or is it?
So that was, the grading step was when the board called for a salary survey, 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
This was the methodology that was presented. The board approved some pay increases for certain positions. So the scale that was put to the board was a pay grade and then a step. A step, was supposed to represent merit. So it's a 1.75% increase. I'd love to budget everybody at the beginning of the year because it's a real pain to do. So we budget as it actually happens. Now, I should say here that the sheriff wanted to go to our scale, so we did a lot of work to move his people to our pay scale. That was the first time he ever wanted to do that last year.
Yeah.
So there's not a step plugged in for his people.
Right.
It's just a COLA.
So a step is every year.
Essentially,
So
no matter what.
again, my first year on the board, well, what I'm reading is we're guaranteeing or putting in policy a raise every year, right? And so I guess that could be like a tenure. Is it supposed to be merit based?
It's merit/tenure.
It's a tenure, really.
We
It's
don't,
not really
we don't
merit.
have
Yeah, it's-
a genuine merit
and we,
at all, unless someone is promoted,
Okay.
that we don't have.
Okay, so it's not based on, I got a exceptional on my review.
Correct.
Okay.
If you're a really bad person,
You still get that.
no, there are people that have not received it because of behavior.
Okay.
Yes, correct. They did not receive a step.
Okay.
So because of the way it's applied, we budgeted that way, 50%.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to take over the whole conversation. I'll let somebody interject, but I do want to tie 1 and 7 together because it's the same methodology, basically. A raise and then an incremental step throughout the year, which equates to something even greater on our next budget, right? And I personally don't like the methodology. I don't think it's a good way to plan. I believe I know public safety is our largest category expense as far as departmental expense, but our category expense largest is personnel, right? And so if we say, hey, we're going to increase the personnel costs this year, and at the same time we're going to incrementally increase it for next year before we even get to next year. Yeah, I just don't think that's a good planning methodology. And I'll say one last thing and then I'll be quiet. I just want to share my thoughts. With the departmental raises at 3.75, if you look at where are the jobs in Upson County, right? A lot of the top jobs are governmental jobs. It's either the school board or the city or the county. That equates to 3.75 hitting us for next year, right? Or in my same methodology, I would do a 2.75
this year.
started this year, right? And then I'm not at 3.75 next year. I can make it a calculated judgment call. And I say all this because I know when I ran, I promised that I was going to look at things from a taxpayer perspective. And I'm not trying not to look at it from an employee perspective because I'm an employee too, right? And I work in corporate America, and in corporate America, we're targeting 2.5% where I work. That if you do your job, you can expect about a 2.5% raise this year. That's what we've done throughout the year. Social Security came out at 2.8, I think, this year. I didn't see the military raise. Sometimes it's a little bit higher. They've always tried to catch up because they were behind. But the state has a 0 COLA this year, right? State employees get 0 COLA this year. And so I'm like, what are we telling our constituents if we go with a 3.75 when the state's at 0, the federal government's at 2.8, right? That the cost of living in Thomaston, Georgia is greater than everywhere else in the country? I don't think that's what we're trying to say. I think we're trying to take care of our employees, right? But I think we have to weigh that in such a manner that we still take care of our taxpayers. And so I would suggest, just like I did with the sheriff, I would suggest we start off with a 6.0% pay raise at the beginning of the year for the sheriff, and we start off at a 2.75 and not do a step. My personal opinion.
Can I just, so, but what you're talking about to me is a policy change as well, right? And the city does that. The city does step on January 1.
Yeah.
So what the county, I think, has always done is try to save a little bit of money by doing the step on your anniversary, correct, Alan?
Well, that's not what led, the steps, everything revolved around anniversary dates in terms with it. Sometimes promotions, always the steps, though, were anniversary dates. It wasn't that the budgeting process led how policy was designed, set up for employees. The budgeting process, so, for example, yes, that employee, we have employees that have anniversary dates in December.
Right.
They'll get 1 month of 1.75. All right, so when we get into 2026, we're budgeting for 2027. So part of that methodology, this kind of also relates to budgeting for 50% for vacancy, to include a vacancy rate. Your digest does grow, so you're looking at 2027, and so you're not paying for all of that increase in compensation in 2026. The other question I had was, are we going with 6 or 8 for the sheriff? Because 6 was the average.
Yeah.
Or we?
Well, he's saying this is what affects the budget. The sheriff wants his people at 8, but the chairman is saying, really, it's only affecting us 6, let's just put 6.
Okay, so then.
But then next year, the sheriff could be too short of what he thinks, right?
Yeah, but
Plus more.
what I was saying with the sheriff is, and we can have more meetings with the sheriff.
That's
I mean,
right.
we're not voting on the budget today,
That's
right?
right. No, 100%.
And I think we ought to go back and look at, hey, can we do 6? And then can we as a board agree that we can do, department plus something for X period of time to get to a competitive thing, rather than, or you said, just rip the Band-Aid off and try to go there if we got the money. But I'm hesitant on trying to go there, because when you go there, you find out next year you're not there.
That's
If-
right.
If we
No,
start
it's
out-
always, I can tell you in public safety, it's always gonna be that.
We talked about a lot.
Yeah.
We just talked about a whole lot, but I'm gonna bring it back to a simple term.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it back to simple terms. Look, under the structure we currently have, looking at it, is you're looking at dollar figures. And at the end of the day, I don't care if you put it in a flower pot or if you just bury it in the ground, it's still gonna cost the same. If we continue the way we're going right now, so if we have 225 employees working at the county, everybody doesn't get that raise at one time.
Right.
All right, so that's spread out over the year. So, but if you take that and you bottle it back up and you give it all at one point, you're not saving money. You need to put the math to it. You're not saving any money.
Not saving any money this year, you're saving money next year.
Right, but
You're not adding to next year, this year.
no, you're not at. But what's the difference between the two? That's what I want to know.
Well, right there, it's only 1%, right? We're talking about 1%, but the thing we have to think is it's compounded, right? Every year, that budget is becoming
The next
larger
budget.
and larger and larger. And it's going to, it's always going to grow, right? It's just, do we look at it in 2-year increments, or do we look at it in 1-year increments? I mean, the effect on the employee who gets a step in December is no different if we did a 2.75, right? I mean, they got 1 month, they might have got an extra.
So they would only have a year, they would have 11 months of, if we did 2.75, they would have 11 months of 1% raise, and then they're gonna get a 2.75 for 1 month.
No, they get a 1.75 for 1 month.
In addition to the one that they already had.
No. I said if we went 2.75 instead of 2,
Oh, okay.
all right, they get 2.75 all year long, right? They essentially lost 1% on their December paycheck if they didn't get a 3.75 at that point.
Can I ask a question? I think Ellen and I kind of think the same thing. So the steps, as our pay grade is set up, the step is 1.75%. So that's where that number's coming from,
Correct.
right, Alan? So at your anniversary date, that would be when you got the 1.75%. So if we're gonna go with the,
Yeah. And I'm not trying to change policy, I'm just trying to have a conversation right now. So, but it's 1.75 every year, right? We're guaranteed our personnel budget if we have the same.
We're not guaranteeing it, we have to approve that,
Okay.
we still
Yeah.
approve that.
Okay.
It didn't guarantee.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed, but it is set up that
For
way.
example, like last year, the board really said, well, 1.75, so
Okay.
it's the step. So this year, we have folks that haven't gotten that 1.75 yet.
Okay.
For last year's approval. So their pay has been the same since January of 2024. Okay, so, but it's up to the board. You can say, well, no steps or a COLA or no COLA, just a step, whatever you want to say, and tell us. It's up to you. If y'all want us to apply, which is much simpler, but from a budgeting standpoint, apply a step at the beginning of the year, then that's a policy change. We can make
But
that.
It's
if
gonna
we
cost
voted,
more money.
if we, that's right, it's
It
gonna
will
cost
cost
more
you
money.
In this year.
If we,
and
if
then
we
moving forward, it
do,
won't.
if we do a COLA
But
of
it-
1 and the 1.75 step, the COLA's gonna start January 1 for everybody.
That's generally,
Yes.
yes.
And then, so that person would get a 1% raise, and then for the last month, they'd have a 2.75.
Or, I mean, it's a number of ways. You could say, we'll grant a COLA, but we're gonna do it July 1 for everyone. Whatever you wanted to do. I mean, and that will save the county money in this 2026 year. So.
Yeah, you can push it around
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make it fit.
So
there.
I'm just at the 2.75 increase per employee is, I think, fair considering the market and considering what the state is doing and considering what the federal government doing. I think 2.75 is fair. How it gets there,
Right.
that's
And
accounting.
the only thing that I would say on that for the employees, Chairman, is I would like for us to look at, it's hard to say what the state does this year versus what the state done for the last 5 years versus what the employees have had here for the last 5 years, right? Because we know cost of living's gone up and up and up, and we really, have we kept up with that or where we're not? Because that's where you're talking about with the sheriff and with the military of a catch-up type situation. That I want to make sure that we're keeping the.
And I don't know, I mean,
The
you got an
employees.
argument to make about it.
Yeah, I'll put that together. I mean, I looked at some of them, but that was.
And the catch-up is a lot of times when it comes to public safety, we're playing catch-up to the
All the
surrounding
time.
counties.
Yeah.
We're always gonna chase that. And
Always.
I don't know that there's I don't have an answer for it.
I don't either.
There isn't an answer.
Yeah, it's
So,
been
but at the end of the day here, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So, is our compensation plan something that you want to look at, or is it, I mean, I'm hearing two different things from you. I just want to make sure I understand. 2.75 seems to be where you're at.
That's where I'm at.
It doesn't
How
matter
it gets
what-
there, the
right,
policy.
You don't care about that.
That's where I'm at based on today's economic circumstances and what's happening in the country, what's happening in the state,
But you,
and what's
but-
happening in corporate America.
But you don't want us to say 3.75 is really 2.75, when next year it's gonna be 3.75.
Right.
That's what you're,
Yeah.
that's what you've got.
Yeah.
You're like, how are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
I just don't wanna get, because we could do 2.75 starting January 1 for everything, and it would be the equivalent of 3.75 the way we got
Yes,
it in
it
the
would.
budget.
It would.
Essentially the
Because
same thing, money-wise.
But next
But
year,
starting the next year,
It
it
wouldn't.
wouldn't be a 3.75, you'd be saving 1% going
So
to next
we
year.
gotta be careful what we're changing. 'Cause
That's right.
We're dealing with two different formulas here
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
accomplish two different things. If we say, well, all we're giving is 2.75, and we're gonna leave the step in there in that format, then they'll get it on the anniversary, but if we give it to them all January 1,
No step.
you're gonna spend more money
In this
than
calendar year.
you're gonna spend more money than the 3.75
Right.
Yeah.
by year's end.
But haven't some of these department heads done it January 1st?
Well, we got
Well,
some constitutional officers
constitutional
that have
officers.
done it
Just
January.
one, Mr. Chairman, just one
I got
last
the
thing,
sheriff's
and I'll
degree last
I'll
year,
shut
not
up.
that.
I won't say
All right, keep
more
going.
if you've muddied the water. The way it is now, and we presented it, Lonnie presented these numbers in gross, but the way it works out mathematically speaking, is when you take the COLA and the step, it works, applied at 50%, it works out dollar-wise at 2.88. That's where it falls. So we can jiggle the COLA down to make it mathematically work out to a 2.75% COLA. I don't think it's gonna, you're not gonna see a big move at all.
It's gonna be
in the
like
Yeah.
budget.
And again, my point isn't this year.
Right.
My point is a process by which we're not compounding next year on top of whatever. we
Because
give
what
them.
happens is you carrying that over into the next year.
You're always playing catch up.
Yeah, I see your point.
So listen, how about this? How about I'll put together some research of things for the last 4 or 5 years between the 275 and 375, and I'll try to make my argument. Now, whether I win the argument or make the argument, we'll see. But I'll put that together, email it to y'all, and then we'll be ready to make that decision at the next time. That makes sense? Is that okay? Yeah. I mean, I don't think, I'm not saying that.
The point here is to have open
2.75 is
discussion.
bad.
I wanna have open-
Yeah, I don't
people
think
here
that
talking about it. It's
275
not-
is bad. I would push for 375 for my employees, but again,
As you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't.
I'll make that argument.
But
and then
my
we'll go
point
from
is that
there.
we should have these tough
Should be wrong for
discussions.
a reason, absolutely,
You know, and the public should know these are tough decisions.
absolutely,
Right.
100%.
One more, I apologize, timing, and Miss Jessica knows the dates. We do have to have 2 public hearings, and so we're getting close. So we'll have to make some decisions and get some numbers adjusted.
But we can change even after the public
Yeah.
hearings, we just need to get a budget published for them.
I understand.
I can get you, we can
But
get
Our
something.
December meeting is December 9th.
Right.
It's our last board meeting, so.
That's
We'll
when
be-
we plan to approve the budget on December.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can make that.
So can I make a statement
Absolutely.
that I've made for the last 4 years, I'm gonna make again? I don't want to be there again. I don't want to be there again.
We're there every year.
I'm gonna vote no on every budget that I have to approve, that we have to wait till December to get it approved. We gotta do a better job of getting where we're going.
Sir,
Y'all gotta figure it out.
when do you, we're open to whenever the board.
If we can have the public hearings, we can do it in November if we have the public hearings, I think.
You don't have time to have the public hearings advertised to have it, to approve it in
Our
November.
next meeting is what they, November.
But I mean, we still have the discussion.
Unless we had a special hearing.
Say that again.
We are
Let's have a
technically
special
ready to roll now, except we got this.
Yeah, we got a few little items, but again, one thing I was showing on this was none of these are really that material. It was really more concepts
Yeah.
than it was money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're ready to roll it. It's just a matter of us getting the public hearings done and done. I mean,
Well,
again, I
I
don't.
mean, some of the complaints I get from my constituents is, okay, y'all roll it right here to the end of the year. You know, they're tied up with the holidays, they're doing this, they're doing that. And we're doing this for them, we're not doing this for us. And that doesn't give them opportunity to be involved. Again, you got a lot going on then, they ain't had time to ask questions, see what's going on. All of a sudden, they just get hit with something and go, okay, here we go again. I don't really understand why we're pushing it out this far. And if there is a reason, I'd like to know that. What is it?
Well,
Is it because the board is not willing?
I think we get caught up in some weeds in these items, these 8 or 10 items that we have here that are 20 grand a piece, 10 grand a piece, and then we have to put the research in and they have to do the calculations to where if it was all within 100, I mean, we're you know, you add all this stuff up, it's less than $100,000 probably one way or the other, and we could have been gone.
Right.
It's a $40 million budget.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of who wants to get in those things. That's why when I tell this all the time, and I came in the middle of this process, but when I did the city budget, we did it with one sheet of paper. Because you don't balance these budgets with toilet paper and you know, and ruled notebook paper. You balance it on personnel capital.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ticket. And I could bring to y'all the same budget and we could talk about personnel and capital. I mean, you can have your budget book and look at it whenever you want to. But for us to sit here and go over those items that we've gone, really doesn't, at the end of the day, doesn't make that big of a deal, you know?
Okay.
So that's where I'm, but.
All right,
So
y'all know where I'm at on
Yeah,
this.
that's fine.
So our next meeting date is November 25th. Can we make a decision then as far as finalizing everything?
Yeah, even if we can't get the public hearings, what I say let's do is we make the decision on the budget, just being advertised during that time, and then if you do, it's just a formal vote on December 9th, there's no discussing.
Right.
It's just coming in, and that's what we always tried to do in places in the past, was I wanted it done before Thanksgiving. the discussion part. We can come vote in December, but we're gonna discuss it.
Is this,
Well, let's all be in one place that we can view it.
Yes, sir.
So, everything, the email I sent out last week, was it Wednesday? Has got everything in it except for some of these nits and nats that were made that increased the, where we took things out of the budget, or where we potentially will add or take out. So where we left off last week, there was about a $35,000 cushion. So it's up to 107, but that master file had everything even down to the department level. I can put things in any format, any way you prefer to look at it.
What I would suggest, and what I like to see on mine, is I want every department and every constitutional officer, last year's budget and this year's budget, where the numbers are sitting right now, so that y'all can see that. And then you've got the detail behind it, and I think that was probably in there, but to me, that's a big part.
Is there comparison to, do you have, current budget versus next year's budget? What?
I do.
Okay.
And
We'll email that back out.
matter of fact, I got
It's in
Alan to send me some previous years,
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
so that if you look at them, then you know, well, they're asking for 500,000. Well, they ain't been spending but 400,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's money to be chopped
And,
because they're not spending it,
Or they're
but
moving
they're
it.
still asking for it.
and Commissioner Jones, I actually want to make a point on that. One thing that I love about the county is when I see a surplus like this, we've not had budgets that have gone over budget. I think our finance department does a great job, and I think our department heads do a great job. But I don't know when we've had, I mean, we typically come under budget, and I think the projections this year are under budget. So what I love about it is, with the things that we've kind of talked about, even some things that y'all have taken out, I would feel good knowing, hey, they got a $250,000 cushion. We're probably going to come in under budget as well. So now we may be up to $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 cushion. If these things come up during the middle of the year, and somebody comes back to you and you want to make a decision to do something, we can do it, right? That's kind of where, that's what I loved about where we are. I mean, I was really excited when I started seeing, I thought we might be dealing with a deficit. So when I started, okay, we'll start with a surplus, this is going to be pretty easy. So that's where I was at.
Anyway, so we'll look forward to your,
Yep, I'll do that for you.
your analysis for us, and then we can move on to number 2.
Yeah, so the number 2 thing that I had here was the probate judge. I think there was some discussion between y'all and the current acting probate judge about 2 positions. Those had only been budgeted at half, is why it's only 80 for 2 positions, because they were vacant. But we have taken both of those positions out of this budget. So that was there was a staff person and is it associate judge?
Yeah, that was a mistake. We should have had the associate judge.
Yeah, well, so those are out, and that's out, and that's, if you wanted to put that back in, it would cost you $80,000 of your surplus on the way the budget's, but that one's out. So I just want that clear.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
we're good.
good on that.
Number 3.
Tax assessor, I think there was some individual discussion on this, not a lot of money. I did a little bit of research, there's jobs out there posted for more than what this person would even be asking for. But this came to y'all, I mean, they brought this up in the thing, so I just wanted your feedback on the $6,000 for,
And it's currently in the budget.
it is in the budget.
This is the commercial.
No.
No, this is a person.
This is giving
One individual.
giving
One
one
individual
individual
a
assessor a
raise.
raise in the department. Is that person making less than everybody else? I mean, what is the merit? What is?
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think what I looked at was the commercial 3, as, I think it was a commercial 3 appraiser. If you look around, there was a job posted not far from here for 54, they're at 42. You know, it was in line, but I haven't compared them to the other ones in that department. Joe.
But they're asking us to give them $60,000 to hire appraiser to do the commercial property.
60 on a new consultant,
60.
if we have to hire, that's right.
Right? So we have the staff that we have, right? And we're saying we're going to take some of the work away and give it to a contractor, right? And so this staff will not be doing the commercial work, which you just said was 54. But we want to give an individual $6,000 raise because they can go somewhere else. I don't agree with that methodology. If they can better themselves, I have no ill will if they better themselves. if we can get commercial contractors to do a job efficiently and that works, I have no qualms with doing that either. But I'm not in agreement to do an individual pay raise on an individual in our budget. I'm one vote.
Yeah, discussion on any,
Well, I mean, I'm a little confused, so, all right, so they're asking for a $6,000 increase for, is that a commercial appraisal?
no, it's just I think it was a level 3 appraiser. I don't know if they can do commercial or what they can do, Commissioner Eddington, but they've gotten the thing to be a level 3 appraiser on that deal. The theory, according to what they think is gonna come from the Department of Revenue, is that we don't have enough people to do the commercial, and so the one that was doing personal property was doing it, and that's why we would need the commercial appraiser on the outside. I would actually make an argument for us to take that money out until we get that report from the Department of Revenue. Again, you got a surplus, you can put it in there, but that would be my argument. I mean, I'm more for trying to help the person if they've done it. I don't want to lose a good person if we get to that point, but for the commercial appraiser, I left it in on here, but I think to me, it would make a lot of sense for us to wait till y'all get that report.
Cool, yeah.
So, just a question, so late last year, or did we, Alan, you may can add something to it. There was somebody there that they came and they needed a pretty significant increase for an appraisal. I wonder why that wasn't addressed at that point. How do we get, I guess first of all, in our step and pay plan, is it that far behind?
Well,
The argument they made in person was that this employee is really good, and if they don't give a raise, this employee will probably leave.
Well,
And I'm like, we should
create a trickle effect then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it boils down to the way it was asked.
I think maybe-
Don't be threatening.
You could have done, well, yeah. I'm not gonna give
I
it
think
easy.
maybe their intention or ask should have been a promotion for the individual. They've been here a decade,
The ask was not. the
and they're a
correct
level
ask.
3 certified. And we need strength in that department. And so that's how I look at this thing. And so maybe they should approach it. We'd like to promote this individual.
Yeah, that's not what he said, so.
Yeah, the ask was the reason. It's
All
right,
tough to
so-
swallow.
Would you like for me to take both of those out at the current time until we can address that a little bit better on the employee and the other from the DOR report?
That's where I'm at.
Is that what we're seeing as a board?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a.
We'll make that
correct,
change.
Commissioner Hamilton, there was another individual that was, I believe, promoted up because of, I don't know if it was certifications or something. There was an additional.
I was just curious why they didn't address both situations at the same time. What, 6 months difference?
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it's a good
To your point, Commissioner Ellington, maybe I need to look at that whole department, because if they're asking for one a year, maybe we need to figure out,
Well, I
like
mean,
you said,
yeah,
where it's at and what's
you know,
going on.
That little board, it says, well, that person there needs a raise, that person there needs a raise. I mean, I think every year they saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do
Okay.
that, every year.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that, so I want to go on, of course, all y'all's recommendation, but I'll take a look at that, and then we can bring that back to you at another time.
All right, so I think we're at number 5.
Yep, juvenile justice. So, I think Miss Brianna talked to you guys and came in before, made her pitch. She was initially talking about, she showed that the data of the cases and the number we have in foster care merits the same as a Spalding, or I think Pike does it with the Superior Court, but Spalding and Fayette, they have 6 set positions. She only has essentially herself and one more. She then came back and asked about adding a position with no benefits, essentially for, they have court there 3 days a week, and when she's in court, they just have to shut everything down as far as the office. But it's not currently in there, it's out, but I wanted your take on it and what your thought was. I mean, I don't.
Well, I won't speak on this. So first of all, from my initial view with this is I was not for it. I was not for it, but I educated myself.
Okay.
the young lady was right. Now, I wasn't here, but I was watching. You guys know I was watching. So I went back and asked some questions. Go to people who know. I didn't know. They do have an issue here. We do have an issue with juvenile. We have a very high case ratio here.
It's huge. Exactly right.
We want to think we're this nice little quiet, simple town, but behind the curtains, we're a whole different place.
Absolutely.
And this is something we got to address. Okay, it's going to bite us one way or another. I think what's essentially going to happen is the judges are going to come and say, look, guys, this is where we're at, and this is what you're going to do.
Well, I had a meeting with the judge this morning at 9 o'clock that I didn't realize when I made it a month ago that we had this meeting this morning. So I'm meeting him Monday morning, I think at 8:30. So I think he's going to essentially make that pitch at that point in time.
Well, I went to the pitch. I didn't wait for the pitch to come to me, and and they had a pretty compelling case there. And let's face it, it's dollars and cents, and our duties and responsibilities are controlling that. But these courts, unfortunately, the young lady made a true statement. Now, like I said, it's easy to sit here and say, no, well, I'm going to take it out. But
right,
we got a choice now, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, that was kind of where I was at when I said I kind of would recommend we add it in there. I've been to her office. I visited with her multiple times. I kind of helped her with the presentation and went through the numbers with her. I think she's really trying to do a good job. I went down and actually talked to some other people at the Justice Center because she's fairly new in her role and said, hey, if there's some mentoring that could be done, I would really appreciate it for the folks that have been there to do that. And I think we have a positive person, and I want to support her.
Right. I've never spoken to the lady personally, not to her at all. But and it isn't about the individual. It's about that department and the function they do.
Absolutely.
And just what I learned, and I'm a single guy, I support what they need to do there.
And Chairman, if I can add, I work with DFACS, and what Commissioner Ellington is saying and what Ms. Joyce is saying, I didn't realize it at the time, but our numbers here are as high as the numbers in Spalding and compatible to the numbers in Henry County.
Yeah,
now,
it's
Henry
crazy.
County's got over 200,000 population. Spalding's at, I'm not sure, maybe close to 100, which is crazy, but there's a lot of factors, as y'all know, and can probably figure out. But yeah, juvenile court it's understaffed, and I'm not saying we need a staff like Spalding's. That's not what I'm saying. But like Commissioner Ellington saying, what she presented, I would say is accurate. And they're going to need some help one way or the other. If not, we're going to see.
Are we good on that one?
We're going to start losing people like her.
Consensus?
Well, it could cost us more on the back end somewhere else that we don't even know.
Are we okay with Mark?
Consensus to put that in?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk real quick about the Griffin Judicial Circuit. So this is in the budget at the 50 that we typically have been paying, I think, into that. Again, this is I met yesterday with the Fayette County manager and the Spalding, and the Fayette County assistant manager and the Spalding County manager. Pike County has already approved this. This is $20,160 for the judges in addition to the $50 they were getting from us. The state's now paying that, so this is in addition. And then they're asking for the 6.25, which is on the Fayette County employees. Just kind of wanted to know where y'all were. To me, we could kind of wait on this and.
Yeah, let me make sure I
In
understand.
addition, though.
Yeah. I think, Upson County was responsible for $50,000 supplement per judge. There's
Right.
5, right?
Right.
All right. So what the states come in and says, we're going to pick up that 50, and max you could have to pay now is $21,000.
Right.
So there's an automatic savings. So
Yeah.
Times 5?
Huh?
Times 5?
Times five.
But at Upson County's rate, which I think is like.
Yeah.
Like 11%.
All right, so, but of those,
Yeah.
of that $50,000 per judge, see, it's more math involved. It's about a little over 11% is what we were responsible for. So that's what we're actually saving.
That's right.
But
that difference from the 50,000, from what we got in the budget. Yeah.
So they've asked to pass that down to some employees some staff members in their offices, which in Fayette County is, I guess, gonna be issuing that, is gonna be, it equates to what, a 6.25?
6.25 is what they're doing.
But in actuality, for us, the way we look at it is these, oh, well, we only giving our people a 2 point, well, no, that, we're, at our portion of that, we're giving them less than 1%.
Right, we only pay 10, 11% of it.
Right. So we're actually only issuing them about less than a 1% increase to their staff members.
For our taxpayers.
Right. So it's,
And
in actuality, it's negligent. It actually, there's a still save, I think we save about $3,000.
And their concern again yesterday from the other counties wasn't as much the money, but it was more on, I think the judges have been kind of almost trying to dictate to Fayette County, well, this is what I'm gonna pay these people and y'all just fund it. And they want a little bit more. The county manager from Fayette wants an intergovernmental agreement with all of us and the judges that say, if Fayette County, they're gonna be based on Fayette County raises, they're Fayette County employees, they're on their step plan on the whole thing, and they don't have any of that at the moment. So what they're asking, not really was a money thing, because Pat County's already approved this, but it was more on we want this intergovernmental agreement.
You want a policy, you want a staff.
They want a
We want
policy.
to know what next year's gonna be.
Which is exactly which I thought we could, I told them that I felt like we could support that, but my thought was, we didn't want this thing running 6 months. Because I don't think we want to fight with Superior Court judges over $15,000 or whatever the number's gonna be, right? It's a minute amount of money for us. So that's where I was. So I told them they were expecting something back from the judges. They had presented an IGA, and I think the judges were marking it up, and then of course we could get it back, and then I get it to Heath.
Yeah, and Chairman, if I can, and this piggybacks off what Commissioner Ellington had said at the last meeting, really this is a two-part thing. It's the locality pay for the judges, which really, they're under some time constraints on that to get that done now.
Mm-hmm.
And the other aspect for the employees, that's something that we can address later on down the line.
So we need to do a resolution in December for the judges.
Well, we've got the resolution now.
We've got it. We could do it in November, I think, if that meeting, if that's.
We can do it today if somebody wants to. I mean,
I've talked to a bunch of circuits about it, and it's really a no-brainer, because you're going from paying $250,000 to whatever 21 times 5 is, you know, and we're paying 13% of that versus 13% of 250.
Okay.
Or actually.
Yeah.
So this is in the budget,
Yeah.
so it doesn't affect our stuff. Let's leave the 50, and then y'all get the resolution. We know that we're probably gonna have some savings over this again that we'll add to the surplus.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that
All right.
okay with everybody?
Where we at?
So what are we gonna do about the resolution? What are we?
I think
November
let's do it.
agenda?
We can put it on the November meeting for discussion with the resolutions, because they sent those out to me.
How long does, what kind of time, I know they're working on a time constraint.
The word came down to
weeks
me,
away.
because I'm working with them on a daily
Yeah.
basis. They're ready for it, you know, as soon as possible. The
Judge's part.
locality pay, yeah, not the other. They understand that's a whole nother ballgame.
Is that something we can entertain today?
I'd have to go back and look in my emails for
I
it.
don't have that
I don't-
resolution with, hold on.
I got a copy of the resolution too.
Let me see,
Yeah.
hold on.
Do you have a copy of the resolution?
We saw it when Judge Ballard came, but it was on last meeting's agenda.
Mhm.
For some reason, I can't get my Outlook to pull up. I can get it on
We
my
got it right
phone.
here.
Let's see. But I can't get it on my laptop.
This is it.
Yeah, so she's got it.
Okay.
But you'll need to amend the agenda again
Right.
to do that.
Does it read like we just read right?
Yeah, I made sure that it does not have anything to do with, and double check me, but nothing to do with the raises for
Yeah, it's
employees.
just strictly that. They made that clear to me when I talked.
Okay.
Tell me when you want me to move up.
I'm just reading where it says, the counties currently provide a $50,000 annual supplement to support each superior judge. So that's 4 counties, there's $200,000 out there.
No, there's 5
There's
judges,
5 judges.
It's
so there's 250
currently.
divided by the 4 counties.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the pay
Okay.
rate.
But ours was,
Percentage-wise.
huh?
Our percent of the
Yes.
250 is like 12%.
12 or 13%. They do it based on the population of the county for half, I think, and then half based on the caseload. So for us, we're one of the smaller ones. like us and Pike, it's really Fayette and Spalding.
Fayette is paying 50%,
Yeah.
and Spalding's paying 25, and then Pike and Upson split the difference.
We split the last little bit.
So we're gonna be going from paying 12% of 250 to 12% of 100 and
Right.
whatever that, I can't do the math.
So it's the same.
Yeah, Jessica.
I don't know the math right off the top of my head, but it's pretty simple.
It's half
Yeah.
of what we're paying now.
Yeah.
I did look at it after they were there, because I was curious, and it's half. We're going, if I'm not mistaken, we're going from paying 31,000 to 15,000.
Now, he talked about Judge Sam's retiring. How many,
Senior judges?
yeah, how many senior judges do we pay for?
Well, we only pay for one.
Right, but if.
And that would, what we're paying now is gonna go down as well on that.
But if Judge Sam's retires, we're gonna be paying for two?
That I don't know. I don't know about the senior judge as far as how his is gonna come in. But then a lot of this too is.
It's 2/3. so.
It's really a lot of this, and even with juvenile court, I meant to bring this earlier, is the courthouse complex. I mean, because we're really using that thing. I mean, we're putting them to work, you know? Come down there any week and you have at least 2 courtrooms going on at one time, whether it's magistrate court or probate court or superior court or juvenile court.
Yeah, I talked to the sheriff.
Every time I go down there, we have multiple courts going on.
I talked to the sheriff yesterday. We got 125 inmates in the jail right now, which that always was close to 200.
Yeah,
It's kind of,
It's way down.
it's low. Let's just put that.
Way down.
That could change.
All right, y'all want to try to do this today, or what do you keep reading, or what y'all do?
I'm looking at the clerk.
I mean, that's completely up to y'all. Y'all amended the agenda once. If you want to amend it again, it's up to y'all. Y'all told them at the last meeting that y'all would approve it in November, at the November meeting.
Yeah, that's
But
what I thought.
completely up to y'all.
Which is 2 weeks.
I mean, I think if we're all in agreement of it, we can amend it, add it,
Right.
and approve it.
Has anybody got any questions about it? I mean, I'm not a procrastinator. I don't know.
Get it out of the way.
Just get it out of the way and move on.
Well, you already paid your taxes?
I mean, this is easy. No. Not gonna pay them till the last day.
All right.
So do we need to get through this item first, or can we go ahead and amend it? And vote on it?
I only have one more thing, so we'll.
Yeah, we have to finish up our business that we're on.
Okay, so we'll bring that back up. So the last one I had was, I think, the security at the government complex, and again, the vehicle would be out of SPOS. This was for the tax commissioner. This has been all over the board. I do think, I talked to the sheriff, he would want that person to be a deputy, which would be benefits and those kind of things, but I just kind of wanted a consensus from y'all whether it's not currently in there.
And it would be for the full
Complex.
government complex.
The whole complex. So my thoughts are we'd have a seat out here, then there would be a spot, have something over there in the Drake building, and they would be here for the whole complex.
And then yellow right there, it says $80,000 a year per position.
Well, deputy with benefits, that's what, it would be another deputy.
Then a car. That don't
And
include
that's right, the car and the equipment would come out of SPOS, but it's
Right.
gonna cost that too.
I'd say leave it out.
Yeah,
Okay, I just need to know where y'all,
just leave it out.
okay. All right, that's all I got. Thank y'all.
How about the second page?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe we can discuss capital.
Yeah, you got something to hand out. He's gonna give you something on capital real quick. The second page was just where we calculated the salary for the sheriff.
You should have gotten, I think, Mr. Joyce sent you all an email with the capital request. I had jotted some notes on there, so that's my gibber bottom.
Yeah, Ellen, I didn't say that. I'm sorry.
All right, before we move on, we said leave that out,
Yep.
but the money's still there. Right? We
Yeah,
still have the
if that's exactly right. The money would be there in reserves if you wanna do it.
I mean, I personally believe we do need something here, whether that's the sheriff or, I know y'all gone through all the different options, but.
Right.
And why?
Huh?
Why?
Why? It's the environment we live in today. I mean, there's a guy named Charlie Kirk who probably didn't think he needed as much as he had. People get upset, right? And some nights we have a deputy standing in here, some nights we don't. And it's unfortunate that that's the times that we live in, that people act out and they get their 15 minutes of fame, but people get injured. I wasn't so much like just for the tax office, but in
Wholesale.
general, I think there should be someone here, whether it's police or the sheriff, or a paid someone who can carry. That's my thoughts.
Certified security guard.
Yeah.
versus-
After the Charlie Kirk incident, my wife specifically asked why we don't have somebody up here.
So, I'm confused, all right, so you just advocating to leave it in there?
Yeah, I think we do need security at this complex. I mean, and I'm not just about the tax, I'm talking about just because of the way things have transpired here recently in our country.
I think it makes more sense if it's used for the full complex.
That's what I'm saying, for the full complex, not.
I don't know.
Would that be split with the city?
Well, I haven't taken any numbers to them, but I did initially talk to them because we were talking about this on the city side before this ever came up on the county side. I had a couple of council people and the mayor were for it. We added some security, we locked some doors into the finance department and some things like that, which ain't gonna stop anybody if they wanna get in there, but we did it. So I think I can get them on board for half. We would run it through a facilities budget, which is a joint project here. And to me, would be paid 50-50 would be my thoughts. Now, the sheriff did want to control it. The city manager, I spoke to the city manager, he was not really for a privatized company. The thought of a privatized company would be a straight $5,000 a month for a person armed, and then if they're out, they send somebody else. But his argument from a legal standpoint was those people don't really have any authority, so they don't really do anything if something goes down.
More liability.
They're more of a liability issue. He said, if you're gonna do it, I'd rather just pay the money to go through the sheriff or our police department.
They're just more of a visual.
Yeah, he said they're just kind of visual. He said, and I don't know if he's had experience with that or what, but he said, I don't think that's the way we want to go. If we're going to do it, let's just talk to the sheriff or our police.
Is that what Lamar does, you said? They have a sheriff deputy?
So I just need to know where you want to go with it, what you want to do, and I can.
What, in that new complex they got?
Yeah, they got it. They got one deputy in the courthouse, one deputy in the.
The other thing that kind of hit me from the city was I used to have Mr. Bobby Ellington, who was my code guy that was there. Well, he was a licensed officer and certified by post, but none of my code folks have that. Well, their code folks now at the city have that, so it's done.
So, can I ask,
Yes.
so if we fund this position at $80,000 a year, plus, those raises issue that we're talking about issues gonna go back to that person. I mean, don't get, no disrespect, Mr. Chairman, but I mean, I can go out to State Farm now and they gonna tell me I need insurance on everything I got. And they gonna tell me all these scenarios why I need it, but, and it'd be nice to have that, but what can I afford? And I'm gonna use your own words. We gotta do what's right by the taxpayer. And I just don't know that is something that you can sell safety. It's all, you can sell safety. Hey, well, it'll be safe for this, it'll be safe for this. But at the end of the day, what is the issue? The city's never had to come and said, hey, I got an issue. They take in thousands of dollars on a daily basis down there. You coming from the city side, have y'all ever said, hey?
You talking about getting the money to the bank.
Right.
I posed that several times to my police department, and we've never really had an issue, but they take it. I mean, we don't really have an issue. Now, the sheriff did tell me that if we didn't have somebody that, as far as the banking transport, all we had to do was call him and he'd send it in.
That's right.
We've not had that luxury. I've talked to the chief of police multiple times, and they only have 3 or 4 people here, and they said they never could really guarantee me somebody. But the sheriff said, no, I'll send somebody if that's all you're after. If it's not a safety issue on the complex, you're just worried about getting money to the bank, I can get you that with no extra cost.
And I'm curious how many people show up and pay cash, because I know what taxes cost today. Most folks don't tote that much cash around. Because if I went in there with my
I
tax
don't,
bill.
I paid the extra 3%
Well,
on my card.
Right. Because I can see the frown on their face when I walk in there if I want to
Yeah.
hand them a whole bunch of cash, because they got to sit there and count it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've been wrong, and I can be wrong again. I just don't know that this is something, if the sheriff is willing to provide a service, why we're gonna go further and pay for a service that's gonna increase every year? Every year, every year. And at what point does that no longer do any good? What if we separate? What if we consolidate? I mean,
Yeah. So, I just looked at it for purely security. Like I said, I wasn't even looking at it
For the money.
for the money. All right, if you got the money situation, okay. The other thing we talked about was moving the meeting down to the complex. And we were supposed to be looking at audio video down there.
Yeah, but it's so small.
Oh, I'm so sorry. May I comment to that, Mr. Chairman? The AV is good. Something will have to be done to the dais, because it's not high enough. So you wouldn't even be able to see people in the audience. Only the tallest individuals could be able to see over. The design is not, if you sit down in your chair, you're gonna be, there may see the top of your head, the audience, and you won't be able to see the folks in the front row.
I would not be able to.
And that's, I'm not picking on you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Lonnie they might see him.
Yeah, I think we are lucky here. I've never seen any real disruption of any of our meetings. You know, you might have somebody talking over somebody. In other areas, they have seen disruptions of the meetings. It may be that we just have a deputy show up when we think it's more contentious than others.
That's usually how it's worked.
right, usually a simple phone call makes it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a text.
All right.
We
Well-
text during the meeting.
Let me just propose this, that we're now up, if we take those out on the tax assessors, we're gonna be north of $300,000 kind of in our cushion. If y'all want to revisit that once we get them here after the first of the year, if it's an issue and we see it's a problem.
I mean, the money's there.
The money's there. We can say, look, the money's there, we didn't set it aside, we're gonna take it on a piece by piece and bring it back.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right, moving on to capital, or where we at?
Yeah.
Know where we at?
Yes, sir, thank you very much. We obviously do need to revisit, we did a 5-year capital plan. A big chunk of the 5-year capital plan that we had was the ball fields. But we do need to revisit that. And Mr. Chairman, you mentioned that in, I think, one of the work sessions. But this is not a capital plan. We are not required by law to, the board is not required to approve capital budgets, but it's really good to make an attempt to approve a budget. It doesn't necessarily mean just because we approve the spending, and you know, all of our, 99% of all of our capital, maybe that's a tad high, is SPOS funded. So it's not going to cause any millage increases, it's not within an operating budget. We want to put things that we are aware of, that the departments have shared with us before you. If we could approve it, would be great. If not, at least you've got first awareness of the ask. The sheriff was here last week and talked about the interceptors that he needed, the Explorers, and a replacement for his vehicle. So that's why there's 7 in the quantity. So I've got the unit cost, the upfit accessories, and what the total cost would be for all 7 of those vehicles. He's also mentioned, and he's actually the person that represented the company that outfitted or furnished our Justice Center, the consultant that worked with them, Maureen, actually took a look at his space and did an inventory. He wants to refurnish the jail or his offices. And she provided us an estimate, I rounded up to $100,000 for it's really all new desks, bookcases, whatever it is that they needed. The furnishings in the jail, I would assume, are 20 plus years old because the jail's over 20. And they may have been using some old furniture. I made you all aware about the roof. That's just something that once, we just need to take that to the finish line. That probably won't get done this year. That's the approximate cost to do the roof repairs on the jail. So all
All repairing or replacing?
repair. So we had the Merit Company come out, the same gentleman that's helped us with what's going on outside now with the exterior wall and the senior center roof. They did a study, they used their equipment. So the problems that they have with some leakage at the jail was not that serious yet. So we could do some repairs and extend the life on that rooftop floor.
Is it 20 years old too?
It's 20 years old. But according to the engineers, it's not in bad shape. They were expecting much worse. But that, if you want to talk about a re-roof, now that's a whole different dollar.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. But to do repairs, to extend it another 5 to 10 years, that's what the estimated cost would be. Also, he wanted new carpeting put down, and most of his operating offices. I've got some footnotes at the bottom. He did get quotes for that. I rounded up to $35,000.
But they got carpet in there now?
I know he does in some of the rooms. I'm not sure about all of them, because I've been in the.
And all three of those are gonna come out of his jail construction fund?
Carpet in bed in offices.
So,
All that's coming out of his jail construction fund,
that
right?
all would come from the
Well,
jail
we know
construction.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would look at some luxury vinyl plank or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, today's times, I don't know why we wouldn't be using something to be a little more durable than a carpet.
I could step to the
Yeah,
sheriff.
But we did take a tour, we did see the furnishings that he wants to replace.
You guys were just-
Yes.
And I would agree, it should be replaced.
It's probably
And so.
I didn't look at the carpet.
nailed together.
It's-
Moving on, okay, we basically, and Mr. Joyce can explain further detail if you'd like, or Commissioner Watson, we've put on hold the concession stand. We're going to include that as part of the larger plan for recreation, but we do want to get the batting cages completed. This is really a ballpark figure, but the batting cages would be done.
Is that a pun?
Is that a pun, ballpark figure on the ball, batting cages?
That old Miss Education's a little slow.
What'd you say?
I said that old Miss Education.
That's why we number, what, 7 or 6? Anyway, we'll do and it's gonna be a pole barn fashion, okay, with a metal roof, concrete, lanes. There'll be 2 lane, be 2 batting cages or 2 pole barns with 2 lanes in each. There'll be netting over those, I guess netting in between each lane as well, for protection purposes. We will need, given the cost of it, we're gonna need to get some quotes on that. We'll come back to the board. I don't foresee us being able to get, we're gonna try, I know, we wanna get it done as quickly as possible. So we may actually be coming to you sooner if we can get something by November to get it, but I don't know if it could get started before year end. We may be able to let it, but just as far as getting construction started. We have a 30-ton unit in the gym. I put some footnotes, talked to Paul yesterday. He's getting additional quotes. The one we have now is 90 grand. It's a big unit and it'll need a crane to take out and put back in. He said it was a 20-year-old unit. It's one of the ones that was put in back when that links is. Right. And so we've had just a rash of units that are aging out, so to speak.
We don't use that links services thing anymore.
Oh, no.
I mean, it went out,
Right.
we just had to pay them off.
Oh, yeah. We still had to pay them.
And we ain't entering
We're in
any
no-
more of those contracts.
No. And then I looked out there, there's, I looked at the GMC, Ford, Chevy, tax assessor, they had an accident, I don't know how long ago, months or so. The car was totaled, we got a $7,000 insurance check on it. That's why I put some numbers down here net, because we did get roughly a $2,000 check when one of the sheriff's vehicles was totaled. So, showing you a net cost to us on just the total capital request.
Let me ask you a question. Can't we take one of the trade-ins for the sheriffs that we're gonna auction off for $1,000 and give it to the tax assessor? Instead of buying a
We can look at that.
$30,000
We can look at it.
We'll look at it for sure, yeah.
I mean, we used to do that.
Well, if he doesn't mind giving up one, but.
Well, I mean.
You know, that was the question the other day when he came, was where you give it back to 5 or whatever?
What I'm talking about is these are the vehicles that we're going, that he's surplusing, that we're gonna auction off.
Well, the ones that he gives us
Yes,
are on their last leg. It won't be the ones that just, he takes 6 new ones and shuffles things around.
He waterfalls them.
Well, the chairman knows, he's seen the inventory out there. We only got like $28,000 out of about 12 vehicles, and they weren't all his on our last auction.
Yeah, I know.
I'll look, if there's something that's decent, we'll try that. If it's not, we'll have to go a different route. But yeah, I don't mind looking at it.
I mean, look, you save $30,000,
Correct.
you know, by passing, because you're not gonna get anything from them at auction.
I don't
Used
disagree.
to, get a little bit,
I don't
but
disagree.
now that this new, we gotta figure out something different. You know, when T.L. Davis was doing it, ain't that his name?
T. Lynn Davis, he
Yeah.
passed away. Actually.
Yeah, I know he passed away, but we got a little more because he auctioned them.
Yeah.
And this
well,
online auctioning ain't bringing nothing.
Well, I give it more time, because what we've sold under the online has been some real junk. Because it hasn't been like stuff that somebody should go. And I will tell you, on some of those T-Lin auctions, we still have a lot more Crown Vics in the sheriff's inventory. Those go like hotcakes, and people pay up for Crown
Put some
Vics.
22s on it.
We're about, I think he said he had one Crown Vic left in his inventory.
Then he wants to hold it. I don't know what he's holding it for. You know?
But one of the sales we did, people were having to come and haul stuff off from the road department. It did not, we sold generators that were inoperable. People buy it for parts, that's why. But they sell everything, anything. We ask them, they come take pictures and put it out there for auction, so to try to get a few.
There was a
dollars.
van sitting out there
At the sheriff's,
at the road department.
that's sold.
Oh, it did? We got rid of that van finally that belonged to the state?
I forget who it belonged to.
It belonged to the state.
Okay. Yeah, we did get,
I don't know if we ever sold it.
let me back up now, because I know there's multiple vans. That may be one.
It's been, James told me it's been sitting there 10 years.
Let me get back with
Just coming in, it just coming into its prep.
Let me get back with you.
All right.
I don't know. I think, okay, that covers it.
Yeah, I have a question real quick.
Oh, yes.
On the recreation, you mentioned pushing the concessions, and I know the thought process is because we're doing the master plan, might as well just make sure you're not gonna put this money in an area and then a master plan tells you, no, the concessions need to be over here, whatever it is. Where are we with the master plan? I think the thought was to get EMC to provide a proposal. Were we gonna get other proposals?
Yeah, I think I had a group presented to me that Mr. Gullidge met that's interested in that as well. They were going to call. I presented that to Brian shortly right before he turned in his notice to leave. So I'm going back over there Thursday because they're all at not Brian, but the rest of them are at a conference. So I'll be down there Thursday. So let me get down there and see where that's at. And then I think in the meantime, while we're looking for a rec director, you and I can push the master plan.
Okay.
Unless I'll give you one and let's go with it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, these batting cages, you gonna put them in before you get the master plan?
Yeah, I think those are gonna be located to where you could always utilize them. Because what we're doing now is you're not doing one big batting cage. If we were gonna do one big batting cage, I think, yeah, you may wanna make sure it's positioned right, but we're kinda splitting them up to have 2 lanes. So we can duplicate that. If we add more fields, we could, do another 2-lane, another 2-lane, whatever the.
Not gonna get in the way of concession thing?
No. Because I don't see there being a master plan that would wipe out our current ball fields, because we would lose seasons if that happened.
Okey-dokey, we done, huh?
All right, you gonna make a motion?
You remember what it was?
No.
To amend the agenda.
Amend the agenda.
He's
Yeah,
like,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the resolution for the Superior Court judges,
Locality.
the locality
Okay, so I have
compensation.
a motion by Commissioner Ellington to consider and vote on the resolution presented by Judge Ballard for compensation for Superior Court judges. I have a second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Watson seconds. Any further discussion?
Sorry. Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brew?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right,
Okay, now we got to vote on it.
Right. That was just amending the agenda.
Somebody won't read it?
I don't think we need to read it. He went over it at the last meeting, and that was, my concern was what was the dollar amount, because we're talking about 21,000, but that's not what it is. It's a portion of a portion.
It comes out, as I understand it, and of course, the manager and the finance guy can speak specifically, but from Upson's portion is going from 31,000 to roughly 15,000.
Okay, and there's 4 counties, and Pike already approved it.
Pike approved it last
That's
Tuesday.
correct.
Do we have any thoughts on Fayette County and Spalding County, where they stand?
They're gonna hold off until this IGA, according to, they're gonna hold, well, the word yesterday was they were gonna hold off on everything until the IGA was signed, not just the salaries.
Okay.
But the only thing impacting them is the salary, the
Right.
increase, so I don't know what leverage they.
Well, then Fayette's gonna pay the salaries, right? 'Cause there's the,
So if
That dollar amount.
Fayette doesn't agree to
Yeah, it's
this,
just-
we go back to the old? What does it mean?
I think so, right?
Yes.
If Fayette didn't agree to it, it would just be gone, like
Correct.
if all the counties don't agree.
Correct.
Well, we prove it now, we wait, they prove it doesn't matter, everybody's gonna be waiting on somebody, because if we
Okay.
get a hold, we
And-
don't.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
And so Fayette is gonna hold their vote pending our review of a IGA on the staff? Is that what you're
That
telling me?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Sounds
can't
like
say
they're
what
tied
Fayette's
together
doing.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that the Superior Court judges need this to be acted upon as quick as possible before the end of the year, because of course the pay package starts January 1,
Yeah.
and they have inquired with me multiple times, more than 2 of them have, so. I'm asking you to give this consideration, please.
Well, I don't know, it's on
I'm gonna
YouTube,
say
you
you
can
don't
learn it.
Let me give you another number to call.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
I got Commissioner Ellison, motion to approve resolution presented by Judge Ballard, and I got a second from Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brew?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Closing comments?
We have one more item on the agenda.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. It should be,
Hey, what's our longest meeting?
Work session is usual here.
Pretty long.
Okay. What's next? Okay,
this is just the extension.
extension of the moratorium.
It doesn't change anything, all it's doing is, the moratorium, as I understand from Ms. Jones, ends November 24th on the subdivision moratorium, so this would extend it from the 24th for another 120 days with the same exact wording.
Okay.
So obviously be prepared for additional meetings where you have
Exceptions?
hardships or exceptions presented.
We haven't had any that were,
Yeah, out of line.
yeah, out there. So any discussion?
if I may, the only thing I would ask is if, I mean, obviously, we're focusing now on getting that ordinance completed. So it just seems like to me, we keep coming back to like the same couple of things that are the real big issue. Flag lots and road distances which coincide with each other, and then acreage. So, you know, I'm sure there may be something out there that staff wants, but I know that's what the board has really been harping on. So if we can hammer those down, we can probably get something in place pretty quickly.
I think we try to tackle those 3 big points.
Right.
Try to use this as our new deadline and get it done before then. So then that means planning and zoning needs to get it to their board, then to us, so. it's
Does
a
anybody have
process.
an update on, did they meet this week, or they meet next week? What?
I had a call from Mr. Rush, but I got to call him back, so I don't know if they met. I did not go to the meeting if they had one yesterday.
I heard on the radio they were gonna have a work session, I believe, at the airport, maybe.
There's the radio right there.
Dave, what did you put on the radio?
Hit after hit.
I think it's next week.
Aaron'sbury.
That's probably what Mr. Rush is calling me to go help, to be there for that, and I will be, so.
Okay.
You need a motion.
Need a motion to extend the moratorium.
So moved.
Mr. Jones moves to extend the moratorium for 120 days from the end date. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Biggs?
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Biggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Chairman Brewer?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Any final comments?
If you turn it from mine, I do have one that I think it was included as in part of the alcohol ordinance amendment, and that was the resolution that's going to, like we talked about in our previous ordinance, we said permit fees, application fees by ordinance, which of course is a lot harder to change.
Right.
So in our new ordinance, it will just say those fees will be designated by resolution, which is something the city has done and it's worked out well. So that's what I'm proposing in the new ordinance. So what's coming, if that's approved, is a resolution setting those license fees and application fees. So it should be on the server included in this. Yeah, the resolution that you will have to consider at the time when the new alcohol ordinance is approved.
Okay.
And the meat and potatoes is we're changing, or at least my proposal, I just put numbers on it based on conversation from everyone, is that the new licensing fees will move to $750 a piece, and then the new application fees will be $500. Is that right, Jessica?
Let me pull it up. Give me one second.
Okay. And I'm just telling you this so we can have it, you can be thinking about it, so when it does pop up, I know at one point in time, I think Commissioner Jones says he had not seen the previous alcohol ordinance, so I want to prevent that in the future. I want y'all to know what I've been working on. And
Does this line up with the city's numbers?
That's-
pretty much, the cities is a little different because they have, and we talked about this right before the meeting, they have and I'm not sure, a bunch of different districts on how they do it because of the downtown development.
Because of the downtown. They'll let you get a little cheaper downtown because they try to push people downtown in that downtown district. So there's a district map for that.
But outside of their downtown, it's $750,
Okay.
which is what we talked about and was trying to be consistent with.
Is there language in there about holding a license and not operating?
So.
That's in the previous, that's going to be, that's in the ordinance now and it will remain in the ordinance.
So to add, I did look into what we discussed, and I'm gonna have code enforcement to look into it, so that they can prove to us what they're doing.
Okay.
And Jessica talked to me about that, and I think that's a good plan, and I think they're gonna have a hard time.
I think it's been a while.
Mhm.
Okay.
That was it. Thank you.
All right.
If y'all have any changes on the way I did the budget this time, I think I think next year will be a whole different process. I hope with me kind of heading that up. But this was my shot, this is how I like to do it, but if there's something you want to see or something different, let me know.
Well, I had a lot of questions this year, my first year. So,
We just, I'm kind of like with James, and I think we've asked for it more than once, that we'd like to have it a lot sooner than we get it. We always wait till the deadline.
Yeah, I think it's just, from an accounting standpoint, because I
I
am an
know,
accountant
I know.
by heart, you try to get as much history as possible, right? So if you try to do it, you cut it off in May or something, you don't have hardly any data, but there's a point there.
I ain't saying go back to May.
Well, but I mean, if you're gonna get it to you in July, they gotta start pulling numbers, it will be May, right? So I think there is kind of but we can get a happy medium, we'll push it.
we set the millage when?
We set the millage in,
Well, it's due September 1st.
yeah, so usually that August, early August, late July.
So, may I speak to that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr.
No, go ahead.
Because you asked the question. We submit a calendar every year, and so nobody pushes back, says, well, we want to have, we show when we're going to do things, the steps of the budget, when we're going to have the hearings, when we're going to approve the budget. There are several factors this year. We were way ahead of the curve this year. A lot depends on departments, et cetera. But there was an interim county manager and a county manager. So we wanted to wait and give Mr. Joyce a chance.
Sound like you're blaming the interim county
I'm
manager.
not blaming and I can say this publicly because the sheriff's not going to be offended. But you understand half your budget
Yes.
term. So he wasn't ready to even discuss. I was asking him back in July, what do you think you're going to ask for in terms of COLA? And then I came to a work session back in July, like, here's some budget directives, and nobody wanted to talk about COLAs at that time because we had health care. So we were ready, and we're still ready.
That reminds me, and that's another reason I was back at that 2 something, because we had a discussion,
Right.
like, we're gonna take on all these extra
Yeah.
healthcare costs and not pass them on to employees, but there's
Right.
gotta be some give and take there.
But we have to get all those folks, including the sheriff, to say, okay, what do you know? And we'll do it.
The other thing that I want to bring up, and Alan and I have talked about, like this clear.gov that we've had at one time, there are some budgeting software that would get more stuff out to the public. We've seen other cities. We haven't had a chance to really set that up like we want to do it. I kind of expect next year that we're going to be on something like that and not even have these big spreadsheets that float around and there's all kind of data. So we're going to try to do that. Then we can also produce a lot more of the data that the chairman wants there as well.
Jesse, you got anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Vick?
I would say, yes. With everything that's going on, think about your neighbors and, see if you can help them in any way that you can, because right now we are kind of at a tough place. So think about your neighbors and reach out, do what you can.
Appreciate it. Mr. Hamilton?
Only thing I'd like to say, I got something on the site, but I'm gonna say that for the next meeting, but, man, I sure would like to get one. Alan got a reward, y'all, one time. Do y'all know about that award?
Yeah.
Award he got?
It was fancy.
Yeah, because they did it right. I like to go back to that with it. I like the budget book. I'm old school. I don't want to have to scroll and put my glasses on and do that. I want to be able to go right over here. I want to be able to have some comparison. So my only request for budget purposes, for preparation, is to have one of these. We already spent the money on the binder. Let's fill it up.
Well, I give that's all Lacey and the rest of the staff putting all that together in the sleeves and the tabs. I'd like to give you the whole thing, every department, all the details, and that, it gets really thick when you do that, but I can't give you the summaries more easily, and then, we give you anything you want.
Well, I mean, I think it's prudent to us, that way we don't have to come in and ask a bunch of questions during the meeting. We can dig into, we can get in the weeds without our own training wheels. Okay? So,
That's what I did. So I used to provide a budget book like that, and then you could come in and meet with us whenever you wanted to, one-on-one, and say, hey, here are my issues. Then I present a list like this, and we go on through.
because you can take 45 minutes to an hour out of a budget meeting
Right.
if we've already had that stuff and we don't show up going, well, I really don't know what this means, and I have to wait till I get there.
When you're talking about a
just
printing
helps.
increase
Yeah,
of $5,000 or something, yeah.
Perfect.
Mr. Jones?
I want to kind of piggyback off of Chris, and I was going to say this anyway before he said. They've had some stuff on the television that if the figures are right, that really hurts my feelings. That up to 29% of this county gets benefits.
Go to Piggly Wiggly, you'll find
That's surprising to me. And it's the four counties. It's Troop, Meriwether, Hurd, I think, and Upson. They're the highest in this region. And I hate it for the people that aren't making a living and have to have some supplemental. It just hurts my feelings.
That goes along with that juvenile.
Well, for every action, there's a reaction, and there's a lot of reaction based on that. That's one thing. Other things pile on with that.
I mean, it's, we're what, 30,000 people? That's 30%, so that's 10,000 people, right? Am I right? That are need help. And that's it. I'm done.
I just was going to thank our finance staff, because I do understand that this is probably not an easy task. So, pass that along to your staff members. And I like simplicity and just being able to go straight to the point and figure out bottom line, what's it going to take. So I appreciate all the work y'all are doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hopefully we can get it a little sooner, but thank you.
Well, I appreciate it too. We got the ACCG calendar for training, came out yesterday or the day before. If you're interested, I have one more class I have to take. I think I'm gonna try to do it online just to get it done. Only thing, when we start talking about the budgets and we're talking about 5-year capital, I know when I came on board, they were like, we need to have an offsite, and I was like, I'm a transparency guy, I don't want to go offsite, I want everybody to come. So we talked about the possibility of going down to Americus, which is within a commuting distance if anybody wants to come. I would really like us to look into that, like early in the year, late January, early February, come up with a 5-year capital plan, and each commissioner, whatever your thoughts are, what we need to be looking at, more long range, more big picture. Again, it's my first year. I've learned a lot, and still a lot I don't know. So I would propose that we do that in the first part of next year, if y'all are on board with that. And I think Americus is a good spot. It's not too far.
That would be good for a new county manager too.
Well, we're gonna have a facilitator, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I would like to have
ACCG.
ACCG. Yeah. I did mention it to him when we were at Jekyll.
What's his name? Who's on?
Bill too.
Yeah, and I think
He's
he
done
used
it
to be
for us before.
he's
County manager for Americas,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sumter County.
Something.
That's why you said Americas, right?
No, I just told him that. I was like, they got a nice hotel there. It's not very far. They got, you can do meetings and stuff there, and it's not Savannah. So
No,
people
I
can,
wouldn't,
people can come if they want to come.
We
They
don't
can
need
go
to
home
go.
in the afternoon if they want to go home in the afternoon.
We don't need to go that far out.
Yeah.
We usually go.
We can go eat
Bacon or
those
club.
hot dogs across the street.
That's
from
right.
the hotel over there at Washington.
The hot dog stand?
All right. Can you get a motion
Thank you.
to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah. Mr. Ellington, Mr. Jones.
Commissioner Ellington? Or you want me to, I didn't know if you want me to call the roll. or you-
All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Okay, I'm here.
Gentlemen, if you do go to Americas, please don't inspect my old dorm room at Georgia Southwestern College. There's no telling what I left.